eat as much as the next guy, but I've never risked my life to use it, unlike our next speaker. Wael has very graciously been asked to be introduced as a journalist and blogger, to which I will add the Arab Spring. Wael Abbas.
Hi, I'm not sure if the stuff that he said about me are true or not, but I'm just a blogger. I will talk about our experience in Egypt using social media since 2004 until the revolution, how and why we needed to use the social media. This introduction can be long, but I will try to be as brief as possible. But we live in a country that we are being told that we have freedom of expression and freedom of speech, and they convinced us that we have political parties, that we have newspapers independent and belonging to political parties. But at the end of the day, we found out that we're not being told the whole truth, and they are hiding a lot of stuff, and in the traditional media, they are not covering everything. In particular, in 2004, there started to be movements calling for change in Egypt. Movements like Kifaya, for example, or the People's Campaign for Change. And they were calling for Mubarak to be impeached, and they were warning against Gamal Mubarak following his father as president. These movements were not getting enough coverage in the traditional media, or proper coverage in the traditional media. Even they were getting coverage in foreign media like Al Jazeera, like the BBC, but we cannot depend on that because the coverage is not enough to reach all the people inside Egypt. I was blogging mainly in Arabic, in Cairene Arabic slang, because I wanted to reach a certain target audience, which is Egyptian youth. Students of university and high schools, because I believe that these are the ones who are going to make a change. So I used a language that they are familiar with. I even use profanity a lot, which they are using every day in their daily life. I abstain from using expressions of scholars and intellectuals and journalists. And I believe I was successful in drawing attention to my blog. I was doing stuff anonymously on the internet before 2004 using a nickname. I was doing stuff on forums, on mailing groups, in chat rooms. But with a movement like Kifaya, I decided to take my camera and to go out to the streets and take pictures and videos of what's going on and show the people what is really happening. Instead of the 3 lines that they read in the newspaper every day about that there was some opposition demonstration in downtown Cairo and people don't know who are these people and what they are doing. This is an example of one of these demonstrations. It took place in Al-Azhar Mosque in Cairo. It was during the war on Gaza, I think, or on Lebanon. I think on Lebanon in 2006. One of the techniques that the police is using is using soldiers wearing plain clothes so if there is any foreign media or traditional media filming, they will think that the protesters are clashing with one another, not with the police. People on the left side are the thugs, and the protesters are the ones more to the inside of the mosque. One of the biggest movements calling for change in Egypt was the judges' movement. They were calling for independence from the authority. And I believe that the bloggers in Egypt were one of the biggest supporters of this movement. This is a demonstration in downtown Cairo. and for supporters of the judges, including the Muslim Brotherhood, and as you can see that the police is using force against them. This is during one of the peaceful demonstrations of the Kifaya or the Enough movement in 2005. At that time, you did not see stuff like that on TV. It wasn't only about the activists or politicians, but we also covered workers' strikes, because we believe that strikes and sit-ins play a big role in the movement calling for change in Egypt. These are the garbage collectors in Giza, and they were demonstrating because they had demands. And of course, in Egypt, nobody will care to cover garbage collectors going on a strike. Maybe you heard about Mahal al-Kubra and the general strike of 2008, but this video was taken before the general strike in Mahalla, and it shows the daily life of one of the workers of Mahalla and the poor life conditions that he is living with his family and children. So this helps people realize why those people are protesting and why do they have demands. The bloggers were also part of the movements. They started movements on their own, or they were part of movements calling for change. And this video is from a demonstration organized by the Youth for Change movement in 2005. This demonstration is like something you do unexpected. It's like a flash mob. And it was never told to, they never told the media that we're going to have something, and the bloggers were the only ones trusted to cover such events and to show people that they are taking place. The bloggers also covered some international issues, like the Palestinians who were trapped inside Sinai when the borders were closed with Gaza. Some interviews with those Palestinians who were trapped in poor living conditions, in tents. And they are begging of both Mubarak and Fatah and Hamas to solve the situation. And then the situation exploded dramatically and the borders were broken, and I was able to enter Gaza and take some footage of the conditions inside Gaza. No electricity, and people are using fire to get warm. And when the borders were broken, they were smuggling goods, necessary goods. They are lacking inside of Gaza because of the barricade. We even covered the American presidential elections This guy is an American Mexican immigrant, and he's happy that Obama is running for president, and he even composed his own song to celebrate this. And he told me one thing that I remember very well, is that he's happy because now his son and daughter have a chance to run for president in America. There were events that were organized entirely by the bloggers and their effort. This is a demonstration calling for national unity in Egypt between Muslims and Christians. It was in 2006. And as you can see, we've been able to gather huge numbers of people to join the demonstration. And none of the political organizations or movements were part of the organizing. I guess that's when they started feeling that we are dangerous, the bloggers. When we started organizing stuff, instead of being in our bedrooms wearing pajamas and drinking Nescafe and talking to our own. You might think that the first sit-in at Tahrir Square was on the 25th of January 2011. This one was on the 16th of March 2006. This is the same square, Tahrir Square, and the same circular garden, and they are welcoming us by spraying water so we cannot sit in the garden. But we managed to organize. They even turned off the lights in the square entirely. Despite of the cold and the harassment, we were able to organize it. It was successful, lots of people joined, and for the first time the military police appeared. It wasn't active back then, but I think they were collecting information. We had graffiti on the asphalt. We slept. We spent the night in the garden. This was organized entirely also by the bloggers. And we made fun of them too. This is a video about, it's a traditional Sha'bi song. And it talks about how sitting on the floor is healthy and sitting on chairs are not healthy, is not healthy. But I used it to make fun of President Mubarak and his back pain, because it was forbidden to talk about Mubarak's health. And journalists were sent to jail because they spoke about the health of the president. So the chairs here means his position, that he doesn't want to give up. And I made the song to indicate that his back pain is because of he's sitting too long on a chair and he doesn't want to give up his position. They used to scare us back then and tell us that talking about the president's health is affecting the stock exchange and affecting the economy, and this is not something that you should talk about. The exclusivity of our videos also made them good material for traditional media. So some TV stations borrowed our material and aired them. This is Al-Hurra, it's an American channel in Arabic. And this is a video that I have shot during the Judges Club sit-in, when the police attacked the sit-in and arrested everybody who was there. the bloggers, as you can see, became a source of information, not only for television, but for international news agencies and newspapers too. So some of them borrowed our material, and others just stole the material. This is a promo for Al Jazeera, and you will recognize one of my videos in this promo, which they did not shoot themselves. You've seen this one, I've played it already. So it's not their material, they never paid me for this video, but they put it in their promo. Because of the success we made, people started sending us their own material. The material that they shot using their mobile phones and digital cameras. This is, for example, a train crash in the Nile Delta, and this is from the camera of an eyewitness who sent me this video because he wanted it to be seen by as many people as possible. This happened before CNN introduced their eye report initiative, where they tell people to send their videos and they air them for them. Sorry? It was a train crash.
What year?
What year? I don't remember. I think it was 2006 or 2007, something like that. Some of the videos were of taboo nature that they cannot be aired on traditional media at all. But they trusted that we can publish them because they show that there is a problem and it needed to be solved. This is an example of the sexual harassment videos that we have been sent to post on our blog to raise awareness about the problem of sexual harassment in Egypt. And we had eyewitnesses on the rigging of the elections, because no matter how powerful a blogger is, that he cannot be everywhere all over the country to take videos of the elections being rigged. As you can see, there is one guy and he's filling all the ballots and putting them in the books himself, not aware that somebody is taking video of what he's doing. That was 2007 in the Shura elections, Shura Council elections.
Wow. Say a little bit about people's reactions to these as they went up, and how that changed between 2004 and what we're seeing now.
Okay. I'll talk about that when I come to torture. Because we've all heard in Egypt about torture happening in police stations. We even made fun of it, but people have never seen it with their own eyes. So you can imagine the shock that people felt when they saw videos like this. So it stirred a lot of controversy in Egypt when we posted videos of torture, and people started asking questions and started asking for interrogations and trials for those who are responsible, because it also coincided with the photos and videos that were leaked from Iraq. What is the name of this prison? Abu Ghraib. Egyptians torturing Egyptians. So people started asking questions, why does this happen in our country? And also, although these videos have been available for like years, but nobody dared to put them on television or in newspapers or talk about them because of their nature and because it was a taboo issue. They didn't want to get into a fight with the authorities about them. We even started getting videos from other countries. This video is of torture in a police station in Kuwait. This is an Indian worker in Kuwait being humiliated in a police station. And thank God we were successful to break this taboo in Egypt, and we managed to put an officer for the first time on trial. This is Islam Nabi. He's responsible for sodomizing and filming a microbus driver using a broomstick in a police station. And without the videos posted on the internet of the incident, he wouldn't have been behind bars and standing trial. And he was only sentenced to 3 years, but it was a precedent.
Well, I don't know if we have time for all the rest of the videos, but we would like to hear.
Yeah.
What we're doing now, or what's happened since.
Yeah. After we managed to steer the public opinion in Egypt, we started receiving threats on phone calls. This is a phone call of some officers threatening me with, they said that what happened to this bus driver in the video is going to happen to me too once they put their hands on me. But thank God it never happened. It wasn't only threats on the phone that nobody else can hear, but they tried to destroy our reputation on TV. This is the assistant of the Minister of Interior for Legal Affairs, and he's appearing on this popular talk show, and he's saying that Wael Abbas has a criminal past and has a criminal record. And they spread rumors about me being a homosexual or that I converted to Christianity and all this kind of stuff. Not that I'm against that, but in our conservative society, it's not acceptable, of course, and it destroys your reputation. But thank God for this video, I was able to post my criminal record on my own blog. I had my own media, so I posted my criminal record, and it was empty. It was completely white. And I proved that this guy was a liar. This is a problem with YouTube that Isam has mentioned. YouTube removed some of my torture videos.
He's an anti-torture watchdog who has documented abuses in his own country and posted them on YouTube for the whole world to see, but now he's offline. Our Middle East correspondent Anish Rahman has been looking into this. Parts of Anish's report may be disturbing.
Wolf, one of Egypt's most prominent activists tonight says he has been silenced, not by its government, but by YouTube.
YouTube claimed that I was not providing enough context for the videos that I was posting, and that my videos were not proper, the content was not proper for the YouTube audience. We got into a huge argument, and I got a lot of support from American bloggers too against YouTube, and CNN, as you can see, made a report about it, and Fox News also did the same. Lots of people told me, why do you have to post these on YouTube? Why didn't you take your own host and put your videos in a host that can protect them? But I believe that YouTube is a platform where everybody can post everything. According to Ethan's cute cat theory, people go to YouTube to watch funny videos of cats and babies and stuff like that. But let's get their attention with something else. If they are watching this, they can also watch that. And videos of torture like this can get more audience on YouTube than if they were on a website specialized about torture, specialized for torture. I think this is helpful to our cause to get the attention of people who are not suspecting or didn't know that something like that existed.
Question about that. The Kuwaiti video show that was submitted to you had a title in English, presumably so that it could be discovered.
Sorry?
Presumably so that it could be discovered more easily.
Well, there wasn't conditions for me putting English title or Arabic title. I put the title whenever I felt like using whichever language. Sometimes I used Arabic, sometimes I used English.
But did you use English to make it more discoverable?
Maybe. I'm not sure what was in my mind back then, but I think when I use words like sexual harassment, of course, I get like hundreds of thousands of views. When I use torture, most people looking for torture will be able to find that easily. These videos easily.
Were there explicit choices you made about making things discoverable?
Sorry?
Were there explicit choices you made that would make the video something that would be fine?
I don't understand.
You said you go to YouTube because that's where the people are.
Yeah. I wanted to reach as much audience as I wanted. And the problem with these videos is that they were not on traditional media, were not on traditional TV that everybody can see. So I wanted to be on a medium that is available for everyone, for people who are specialized in human rights defending. I didn't want activists or lawyers or people who are interested in human rights to be the only ones seeing that. I wanted people to have, I wanted to steer the public opinion, to create something that can put pressure on the government to make changes to this phenomenon of torture.
But so the news question is, other than posting on YouTube, did you do anything else to the videos, tag them, type them in English, etc.?
Yeah, I wasn't very good at tagging back then, but I tried to use that as much as possible. And I tried to spread the videos on different platforms also, like Twitter, like Facebook, like my own blog, and sending them by email to mailing groups and stuff like that.
And what videos got the most views?
The videos about sexual harassment. I don't know why, but I think it's for obvious reason because of the word sex. People are interested in that. I'll continue what happened to the bloggers because of the stuff that they posted on the internet. This is a video of me being stopped at the airport and the officials going through my luggage. This video was shot by a fellow blogger. They kept stopping me for for more than a year and going through my stuff, and I wasn't allowed to travel with a laptop. I was allowed only to travel with my phone. I wasn't even allowed to travel with a DVD or a CD or a flash disk or a memory card. I had to upload my presentations online so that I can play them outside.
So, while you're pressing time, I want to stop and get a couple more questions, guys, then we can continue this in the breakout session. Yes?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to know your take. There's been this controversy of just how much social media had to do with the success of the Arab Spring. People have said it's been overblown or whatever. From your perspective, how integral was social media to our Arab Spring?
The social media is a tool and it was created by people. But the revolution is a decision that has to be taken by people too. The social media was like a catalyst. It helped us. It wasn't the thing behind the revolution. The decision of the revolution was taken by people who decided to remain in Tahrir Square and stay there and face this and harassment until Mubarak leaves and his regime. But the social media made things happen faster, made us able to organize things, to talk to each other, to call more people to come, to call for lawyers if anybody got arrested, to call for medical help, for food supplies, for stuff like that. But other than that, I will not give all the credit to the social media, and I will not also take all the credit from social media.
Dana Boyd, one of the things I'm interested in is, I saw what happened within the Arab Spring, and now we're moving into the elections. To what degree are you able to use social media to connect different populations across, basically country rebuilding, like trying to find how to go forward?
Unfortunately, we haven't reached this stage of rebuilding the country because we haven't gotten rid of the old regime yet. We have a military junta at the moment, which is more worse than Mubarak and more dangerous than Mubarak. People are now getting killed bluntly in front of the cameras in the streets, getting shot in close range by army officers who are defending their interests. The army is controlling 40% of our economy, and they are protecting American and Israeli and Saudi interests in the country. And they are protecting their own interests. They are receiving $1.3 billion of military aid from the United States, and we have no idea how this is being spent. Besides, they are not paying taxes. The army is building factories and building roads and bridges and tourist villages and hotels and stuff like that. And they are making revenue out of it, but they are not paying taxes. They are not paying electricity. They are not paying water. And the labor in these projects are soldiers or slave labor. They are not being paid for this.
Do you see ways in which the community itself can reconnect? I agree this is horrific, this is what's happening, but ways in which you could actually use the technology to communicate across the country among citizens?
We are trying to do that as much as possible, but we're not successful because there is a war now inside social media itself. We were in control before the revolution, but after the revolution, and when they realized that we are dangerous, they decided to go there too, and they are spending a lot of money. And you'll find that there are campaigns calling for Mubarak to be back, and supporters of the military, and people are attacking the revolution and how it's affecting tourism and affecting the economy, and they want stability and they want security and they want the revolution to end. So we're fighting this battle in our own social media, and we're also fighting traditional media, which is still central and in the hands of the regime, and media that is owned by businessmen who are allied with the regime. They are all attacking the revolution and making our image look bad, and telling people that this should stop or that they should fight us. And unfortunately, lots of people are following that.
Well, I was just wondering, did you do a lot of active campaigning to get people to start following your blog? Do you know much about how you grew such an audience?
How?
Do you know how people found you, and did you actively work to grow a large audience?
Well, I tried doing that using the means that I know. I never studied how to do that, but when I started my blog first, for example, I started putting links in forums, discussion forums, and sending links to the mailing groups that I was using. The chat list on my Yahoo or MSN, I used to send them whenever I had a new post. When that was before Facebook and Twitter. And after that, I started posting this stuff on Facebook and on Twitter. And I think that when people feel that this is something interesting, they send it to others too, who will come in turn to see my blog.
How dangerous is it for people in your audience to come publicly in support of you in Egypt? And even, if not publicly, like even liking your videos or connecting to your social media, I mean, YouTube or whatever profile.
although it might seem dangerous, and some people told me that they were clearing the cache and removing my URL from their browsers and clearing the history and stuff like that, but it's not really that dangerous. They are after us, not after the people who are watching our material. But during Mubarak's time, they gave orders to internet cafes, for example, not to allow the users in the cafe to open certain websites or blogs that are talking about politics or torture or any of these issues. But it's not as dangerous. It's only dangerous when you take to the street, when you join a demonstration, when you join a sit-in or stuff like that.
Okay. Well, thank you.